Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 6, and this is going to be my review for episode 17 for this season, otherwise entitled Liberation, and oh boy, so much happened. But yeah, if you've not watched the episode, why are you watching this video? Go watch it, then come back, because we're going to be talking about spoilers, and so much happened in this episode. It felt like 2 episodes in one. It was pretty crazy, but not in a crammed way, just in a wow, so much happened way. But of course, if you watched the episode, it would be awesome if you could let me know your various opinions on the episode in the comments section down below. What was your favorite part? What was your least favorite part? Just let me know all your thoughts and opinions, and maybe even theories down there in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video and you just want to show your support and all that, drop a like on it to show support and excitement from what just happened. So yeah. But of course, last episode was like a big Joe West episode, which led to him leaving, going into witness protection, but then also gave Mirror Iris, or Miraris, or Fake Iris, or Evil Iris, whatever you're calling her, it gave her some ammo, or I guess some verses to her diss track to lay down on Barry. Barry leaves, and that's pretty much where we come into this episode, because Barry's got some suspicions. But in regards to the start of this episode, it just starts off straight away, and I was like, hold on, did I miss the opening 5 minutes, or did I skip an episode? Because we're dealing with the new Speed Force, and they've got this new device which we haven't seen before, so just there's like this big orb-looking thing with like different pentagons or hexagons or something all over it. But essentially, this is like a device to sort of like replicate almost like a particle accelerator type thing based off the information from Nora's diary in regards to what Thorne would have told us. This is how they're making this new artificial Speed Force that isn't like a negative Speed Force. So it's more like a positive Speed Force, if you want to call it. So this device going off, yeah, it's replicating that particle accelerator stuff, but unfortunately it does fail. They're gonna have to come back to that at some stage. You'd have to think maybe episode 19, the finale, is when we deal with that, but maybe next episode, because that's very speedster orientated, which we'll talk about in my trailer breakdown for next episode later on. So maybe it's next episode towards the end, but we'll have to wait and see. But we do have Cecile trying to reunite Iris and Barry. She goes to Iris, well, Mirror Iris, might I say. Now, she's able to read Mirror Iris, and she just feels sadness and confusion and everything like that. But it makes you wonder whether Mirror Iris is faking that to make Cecile feel what she wants her to feel. Because based on other stuff, we're almost treating these mirror clones as almost like people from different Earths, where they maybe like vibrate at a different frequency. Different Earth or different dimension. So maybe Iris can, or Mirror Iris could fake that emotion. I don't know if they addressed that in the episode. If they did, it went by really quickly. So I guess maybe that could have been what's happening there. It might explain why Cecile was never able to read Mirror Iris before. So maybe that's what's happening there. Let me know if you disagree or agree. Now, we had a quick side story in this episode, which I thought I'd just address quickly, which is Ralph and Cisco going to Caitlin, but she is like ice cold, but not as Frost, but as Caitlin. Now, we find out she was trying to fix the wound from the altercation with Sunshine. I think it was episode 15, I think it was. So she was trying to deal with that. It backfired. And basically her body was just trying to, it went to like an immune sort of thing, trying to, keep her alive. So they had to like jumpstart her like a car with like voltage and everything like that. And of course we had Ralph saying, thank Elsa, which I thought was a nice little touch. And we do find out that they're going to go meet with Caitlin's mother. Now, Danielle Panabaker was pregnant, obviously. She was covered in that blanket, I think, for all of her scenes. Now, she finished 19, which is the last episode of this season now, and then she went to have her baby and stuff. So that's the last episode she filmed. So I guess maybe next episode they go to Caitlin's mother, and it's like a short side story for next episode. I don't think they'd do it in 19, but they might, because that was the last episode that she did film. But if they deal with it this season, it's obviously next episode or the episode after. But of course, we did have Barry's board of Iris isn't Iris. Now, I had a challenge for people on my Discord when we're watching the live chat. Try and say Iris isn't Iris 10 times without sounding like an idiot. I'm not going to bother, because I'll just make myself sound like an idiot in this video, which is all the time anyway, but I'm trying to make myself not sound like more of an idiot. But of course, we had various pieces of evidence, I guess you could call it, from the past, I guess, couple of months roughly, and that Barry had acquired that were suspicious, and like Barry even had like doppelgangers. Every man brought that back, even plastoids from Breacher. He had them all there as like potential suspects as to who was posing as this Mirror Iris, like this shapeshifter. But Barry does track it to McCulloch Technologies, but we see Cecile not really going along with it. Like, Cecile sort of bounced to and from, but I think Cecile had a really good episode for the scene she was in, but she was bouncing to and from. But I think she was sort of siding with logic a lot of the time, which I guess made sense. But along with this, we have the prismatic filter photo from episode 14, I think it was, that Camilla had taken, which led to her being zapped into the mirror world. And that's like another piece of evidence for Barry to use to say, like, hold on, something's up here. Like, I think that's the main piece of evidence, but it's just another piece of evidence that Barry brings up. In regards to the real Iris in this episode, we start in the episode with her having a disagreement with Eva about getting out of the mirror world in general. And then Iris actually finds access to behind that main mirror, revealing like a surveillance chamber of sorts. And pretty much, I thought there was going to be a bit more to this scene, but it's pretty much just her learning that Eva pretty much lured her into the McCulloch Technologies thing, like with that informant and everything like that. Like Eva was in control there and everything like that and looking upon it. So pretty much Eva led this path to Iris coming in and her taking over. So it was a decent plan, actually. It's actually pretty interesting to see how Eva's plan worked out and everything that had been set up, and I think it all makes sense as well. If it didn't, let me know, because I think it makes sense, but I'm always open to people saying, no, hold on, what about this part, Pagey? And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, tell me about that as well. I think overall it made sense. There might be a couple of blips and maybe little minor plot holes, but I think it made sense for the most part. But this is when we see Mirror Iris and the other Mirror clones, who are apparently the children of Eva, and they're all brothers and sisters, which I think this is the first time we've actually heard that reference, so I don't know if that was the writer's choice to call them that or something, I don't know. But yeah, they're setting up those mirrors in the apartment of Barry and Iris, which come into play later in the episode. I was wondering what they were doing there, but obviously it comes into play later. But we learn that the final piece of Eva McCulloch's plan is actually Bloodwork. Ramsey Rosso comes back into this episode, at least in particular, and I was like, wow, that's really awesome, but we'll talk about him in a second. Now, in regards to Barry confronting Mirror Iris, he does attempt to drop the diss track on Mirror Iris and Star Labs, dropping the Camilla photo on her. That was like the first verse. Cecile's additions were like a solid chorus, and the prismatic scanner, well, that could be the final blow. That could be just the one where like there's not even a response. Like Iris just walks, or Mirror Iris just walks out of the room. However, it doesn't work on Iris, but it works on Barry. So this diss track was like that song that has a really good like first half, and then it just, maybe there's someone else that like features on the song and they just ruin it. It was pretty much that. But I think it was like sort of weird when like the prismatic filter, or the prismatic scanner thing didn't work on Mirror Iris, but worked on Barry. It's like, maybe they should have tested it on Cecile and Nash as well, because that could just rule out whether it's just busted. You know what I mean? And that obviously something's happened with the scanner, but they just, I guess, throw Barry in the cell without testing on themselves. That was a bit weird. I think that was a bit of like easy like writing without actually thinking about it. So that was my only sort of like moment of the episode. But we do find out that Eva warns Mirror Iris and swapped the prismatic filter with a mirror version, which makes complete sense with the scene. And of course would do the opposite, so sneaky, but it still relates to the fact that why did Cecile and Nash not scan themselves to find out whether it was just like stuffed or there's something up with it. So yeah. But I guess one of the coolest scenes of the episode was the Mirror clones actually going to meet with Bloodwork, and they try to make a deal with him for just a tiny bit of his blood, not like a gallon, just like a drop of his blood, like a bit of it. This was going to help with Eva's plan. And we see Mirror Camilla just kill herself to let Bloodwork out. Now, they said there's going to be like drastic consequences to this whole Mirror arc, and I wonder, did maybe Mirror Camilla, did the real Camilla die in the Mirror world due to Mirror Camilla killing herself here? Mirror Camilla, that's a tongue twister. But the only thing that sort of goes against that is what happens to Mirror Iris in this episode. So you have to assume that Camilla in the Mirror world is still alive. Unless there's like a loophole there where she could die. I don't know. Anyway, Bloodwork gets out, he gives them his blood, but he stays inside Argus in order to play the long game. So he's going to come back into things. I'll probably do a video on the weekend in regards to what Bloodwork's up going on here and where they could take him and use him in the stories, and it might intrigue a lot of you guys, so keep your eyes out for that video on the weekend. But Eva does use the blood of Bloodwork to get out of the Mirror world. We had like Terminator Iris, that's what like, or was like, what's the villain from Terminator 2 where he like gets the metal arms? It was pretty much that. Visual effects pretty good as well. And the coolest thing is that her using the various mirrors around the apartment to attack him. That was awesome. And it obviously made sense why they're all set up there. But even one of the cooler bits was when the mirror on the roof smashes or cracks and all the pieces come down. And it's pretty much like being hailed with a AK-47. Like all the little different spikes are bullets. Barry got owned. He got shish kebabbed. Holy wow. That would have hurt. But anyway, we had Barry managing to get through to Mirror Iris with the help of normal Iris, I guess, getting to Eva. And the liberation in this episode from the title was for Mirror Iris as well as Eva. We all thought it was just going to be Eva, like her getting out of the Mirror world, which of course happened, but it was also for Mirror Iris and her gaining that liberation, that freedom, and breaking free from Eva's control, I guess you could say, and she's gone, which was, I think, pretty cool. In regards to Barry versus Eva, it wasn't really a battle, as you can tell. Eva isn't really evil. She's just in more of that grey area. Like, she has a purpose that she wants to go with, but she's not evil like Zoom, Thorn, Savitar, all these different people. She's in that grey area. So it's hard to really call her a villain. I think even Eric Wallace, the showrunner, said she's not really a villain. She's more of like an adversary. So it's sort of, yeah, I don't think you can actually call her a villain. I think Carver's more in that villain territory. Like, he just seems like he's a bad bloke. Eva's sort of in that grey area. Like, she could be good some days, and yeah, so I don't think it's going to really be too much of a villainous thing with her. I think it's more just her seeking her purpose, if you want to call it, and I guess Team Flash trying to stop it. But in regards to the end credits scene, we had Barry waking up after passing out, and it was a long end credits scene. Like usually they're like maybe like 30 seconds to a minute. This felt like it went on for like 2 or 3 minutes. Maybe it wasn't meant to be the end credits scene initially, and they just made it that anyway. But he's talking to the mirror, trying to get through the iris, and she does the same. So just one of those scenes where I don't think it should have been the end scene. I think they maybe should have had that and then something else at the end, but they decided to have that, and I was like, okay, fair enough. Once again, the CW music, I don't know why they did that with like the words, like the lyrics. They should have had an instrumental thing. That always worked better in previous seasons. Why not just reuse that music? Like West Allen has a theme. Like they have a theme, like a theme song thing, like instrumental wise. Use that in that scene. It would have worked so much better. Anyway, bit of a nitpick there, but I hate it when they use songs with lyrics because you sometimes goes over the characters speaking. But overall, this was a wow episode. Bam, smash, pow, out my face. I got hit with a lot of stuff in this episode, and it was great. I really, really enjoyed this episode. We've had probably like 4 or 5 episodes in a row, which have been great for The Flash this season. Some of you might disagree with maybe only think like 2 or 3 of them have been great, but I think there's been 5 great to borderline really, really solid episodes in a row. And next week looks insane because I did see the promo. It played straight after the episode for once. And then we have the finale, which should be insane as well. So we can have a really great killer finish to this season, The Flash. And it gets me excited because in previous seasons, at least with season 5, it sort of stumbled. So I'm excited to see what they do with season 6. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and the episode. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like and it shows support and just enjoyment factors or enjoyment levels, I guess. Let me know all of your various opinions in the comment section down below. Any theories you have leading to next episode as well. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Goodbye.